equality, and then I have a question. Yeah, about this question of voting and legitimacy. I think as the vote is obligatory here in South America and in Mercosur countries, this could help MEPs in the Mercosur Parliament to argue with the other organs, the Council and the other organs inside Mercosur, to say that we were elected directly, and people won't be able to say, as in Europe, that they are not legitimate because a very small number of electors went to vote. But what people can say is that what we're talking about, that people did vote, but they did not know what they were doing. Then it's a problem where political parties could act. And then I have a comment on this parliamentarism, presidentialism question, because we say here in South America a lot that the Mercosur Parliament is not going to be strong because we have a very strong presidential system which makes the national parliaments weak. But as Olivier said, in the European Union we have kind of a presidential system like in the United States, and in national systems in Europe, parliaments are also weak because they are linked with governments and composed with governments. Then we have to think about it. Does will presidentialism not contribute to the weakness of the Mercosur Parliament or not? Because if deputies are a bit ambitious and act in order to make this parliament strong, that will happen. And the second point is about the political groups, because in the European Parliament, as we saw, we have political groups since the beginning, and deputies were sitting according to ideology and not according to nationality. And here in Parlasur, in the Mercosur Parliament, I'm not sure if you are aware of, it's a bit the contrary. We have political groups in the rules of procedure since the beginning, but we don't have, in fact, political groups. What we have is that in Uruguay we have the National Party, which is right-wing. And that party said in the beginning, okay, we're going to form a political group. And it's only a political group from this Uruguayan party, and it has like about 7 members. Only with of one state, a political group of one state. And then the left-wing party in Uruguay, Frente Amplia, said, okay, if Partido Nacional forms a political group, we're going to form another political group. And then the only formal political groups we have in the Mercosur Parliament are these both parties of Uruguay, which is pretty contrary of what happened in the European Union. But real political groups are starting to grow. For example, we have this progressive, they are calling the progressive political group that has been meeting for like 6 or 8 months now. They are trying to organize that. And there is also this social democrat group that is trying to organize itself as well. But they would not like, but here as well the European Union is a model, or is a paradigm, because the social democrat group, which is PSDB of Brazil and others, they don't want to be compared to the Christian Democrats in Europe, because they think they are too right-wing. Then they don't know exactly what to do about this right-wing political group here in Parlasur. And here I have a question for Olivier about this transnational parties. Because here this is a very topic point, but maybe in a very far-away future we could see transnational political parties and not only political groups in the Mercosur Parliament. And how is that seen in Europe, and how does that exist?
Yeah. Just to be positive about compulsory vote and the fact of obliging people who have no idea or no will to go to vote. If we compare the results of election in Europe between Belgium, Luxembourg and Greece, where vote is compulsory, and the other, there is no more Euroscepticism in those countries, and even less. So that idea that if you oblige people to go for vote, and if they are not interested, they are going to choose some crazy party, this is not true. Or at least if you take a comparison with the European case. About that question of political groups and transnational parties. I think political groups, this is something you can create. If there is a political will, there are many ways of encouraging that by playing on internal rules. For instance, in the rules of the European Parliament, for a long time, since the very beginning, it was easiest to, the size, the level of the number of MEPs together to create a group was lower if the number of nationality was large. So it was maybe 25 members if it's of one nationality, but only 18 if it's of two nationalities, 15 if it's of three nationalities, to encourage the creation of transnational groups. And since now 15 years, it's forbidden to create a group with only one nationality. Another thing you can do is electoral rules. You can imagine some systems that favor the transnationalization of elections. And the third element is budget. If you give money to groups, if you give money to transnational parties, then it will have an impact. And about the question of Clarissa on transnational parties in Europe, you must keep in mind that it's very specific. Usually in a political system, you first have a political party, and then the political parties have this group inside the parliament. And there is a descending link between the party controlling a group. In transnational parliaments, it's very often the other way. And in the case of the European Parliament, you have first a group of people going together with nothing outside. And finally, the European political parties were a creation of the groups. And if you take, for instance, the main groups, you have, so there were some federation of political parties as everywhere, but you had European Federation of Political Parties, starting with the European People's Party in the 70s, and European Socialist Party in the 80s, and then European Liberal in the 80s as well, and then the Greens, etc., etc. And those European political parties were created with the means of the groups, with the budget of the groups, with the staff of the groups, and they were creation of the group. And